Think about the song Come Together by the Beatles. It is an iconic drum part with the toms covered in tea towels, and if Ringo had not played this with tea towels and delicately, but he had played this with wide open toms, I just don't think the song would be the same at all. When it comes to recording drums, people want to talk about microphones and plugins and snare drums and cymbals and all this stuff, and no one really talks about tone choice. Choosing the right tone, tuning, and dampening is something I don't think is talked about enough, and it doesn't require you to go buy any new gear. It really just requires you to listen to the drum, put some tape on, put some towels on, do something to the drums to make them sound different to fit whatever music you're doing. So to demonstrate how tone and tuning and dampening can have an impact on music, at the end of this video, I'm gonna show you one song with two different approaches. One of them is going to be really dead drums, and one of them is going to be very live, ringy drums. So that you can hear the difference in tone and tuning and how it impacts music, and use that for the future when you're trying to decide not only what to play on a song, but how to play it. In the video, I'm going to be playing the live drums, and the track was created by Andrew Masters about a year ago on Andrew's channel. He has a great YouTube channel, link in the description. You should definitely follow it. He was demoing a mic, he played along to this track, and then he provided the stems to not only the track that he played to, but also the drums. So I thought, okay, Andrew played really, really dead drums in that video. So what if I took the same track, but I played really, really live, ringy drums? So let's get into what the difference between dead drums and live drums makes in a track, and how you can put that information to use in music making in the future. Now, a disclaimer, all of the mixes you're gonna hear in this video are my mixes. I'm not a professional mix engineer, I'm a drummer, so don't be mad at Andrew if you don't like the mix. It was definitely me that mixed it, and I'm not a professional, so take that for what it's worth. But let's get into Andrew's performance of this track with dead, dry drums. So the things you can notice in Andrew's performance with these dead, dry drums is the drums sound really in your face because they're dry and there's very little reverb on them. On top of these drums being dry and dead, Andrew's also playing them with these kind of hot rod things because there's a dirt mic involved, and that dirt mic has a lot of distortion, and when you crash on cymbals, it really, really drives that mic. So he's playing with these like hot rod brush things to kind of combat some of that, and it adds to the dead texture of the drums. These drums sound very dark and dead because there's literally cloth over all the drums, and again, he's playing with those little hot rods. The toms are huge and sound really thuddy, and you can kind of play a lot of notes because they're not very ringy, so you can get away with playing lots of successive tom notes. Now, in some of the bigger sections of the song, which again, I'm going to play you more of Andrew's playing at the end of this when I kind of A-B both of these back and forth for the whole song. Since they're dry drums and he's playing them pretty lightly to control the cymbals so that, he doesn't blow that mic out, there's less of a dynamic contrast between kind of like the verse of the song and the bigger, wider open sections of the song. So because they're dead drums, you don't have quite as much dynamic range because the dead drums, kind of are just dead. But one of the ways Andrew does provide some contrast in this song between sections is he takes away and adds ghost notes depending on what the section is. And that is a way where if you can't get super washy on cymbals or play much louder because of how the drums are tuned, you can do things like change up kick patterns, add snare notes, take away snare notes, displace a backbeat. All of those things are ways you can provide contrast when dynamics are kind of limited by how you have the drums tuned and dampened. So that's dry drums. Here is a snippet of the live ringy drums that we're comparing them to that I played. Now these drums have a lot of room mic in them. They sound a little bit further away. They sound like they have more air around the drums. These drums are also tuned higher, which gives the track just kind of a different energy. Not only are they less dampened, but they're just kind of like in general tuned higher than the Andrews drums. To me, there's a little bit more contrast between sections because I don't have a dirt mic. I'm laying into the drums a little bit more. You know, in the sections where I want it to open up more, I can open up and be washy on the hi-hats. In the big sections, I'm crashing on the ride cymbal. And in the quieter sections or the tighter sections, I'm closing the hi-hat. So there's a bit more dynamic contrast between sections because I just have a little bit more ability with how my drums are tuned and how I'm approaching the cymbals that, you know, I can kind of open up and do a few things that offer dynamic contrast that the dead drums don't. The tone and ring of the snare drum really just kind of changes, to me, changes the overall feel of the whole track. So when the dry drums are in, the track feels tighter. And when the ringy snare drum is there, the whole track, even though I didn't change anything about the backing track, it sounds more reverby. Overall, the drums take up more space. They sound like doom, doom, ka, doom, doom, ka, instead of doo, doo, ka, doo, doo, ka, which neither is good or bad. They both just set up and make the track that it is accompanying feel a little different. With live drums in there, with ringy cymbals, less dampening, all of it kind of adds to the track feeling brighter, as opposed to the dead drums where everything feels a little bit darker. Now, which one is better? Neither. But if you have an opinion, go ahead and put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear. Everything comes down to personal taste and what's right for the situation. Making music and creativity is all about decision making. I think Andrew's dry, in-your-face, darker tone stuff would be amazing if you were going to add shimmery guitar or vocals, as that frequency range is still mostly free because there's no real washy, bright, you know, drum stuff taking up space where shimmery guitars or vocals or reverbs will be. I think the live drums would be great if you wanted to add like fuzzy mid-range guitar solo, because the drums are a little more reverby and washy. That guitar, that fuzzy guitar, would sound right in your face. So after all of that, let's A/B both takes, the dry drums versus the live drums, back and forth, and see how they sound. watching this video. Again, in the comments, let me know which one did you like better and why. As well, like this video, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're into recording, I have a bunch of free stuff on my website you can download, mix templates, things like that. I'll have that below in the description as well. I actually have a full course on how to record drums. It takes you through different mic setups, one mic using just your iPhone, one mic, 3 mics, a ton of mics. It walks you through the basics of EQ and mixing and all that stuff. And I even show you how I make these videos, make like drum cover videos where you have a song, you play to it, you sync it all up and put it on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. So if that's your kind of thing, check it out. Thanks for stopping by. Ask any questions you have in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.